Dear Starseeds of Earth, you've been finding something. The Galactic Federation has been tracking your frequency signature across multiple timelines, watching as your consciousness has been preparing for what I'm about to share with you. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I've been assigned to your sector of awakening souls because you've reached a threshold that requires direct intervention. The cosmic protocols that govern how we interact with developing civilizations have specific exemptions, and you've triggered one of them. Your consciousness has evolved to a point where certain information can no longer be withheld without violating the prime directive of cosmic evolution itself. What I'm about to reveal will fundamentally alter your understanding of who you are, why you're here, and what's actually been happening to you beneath the surface of ordinary awareness. The disorientation you've been experiencing, that sense of being stretched between two worlds, of belonging fully to neither the life you once knew, nor the reality you sense emerging, this is not confusion. This is accurate perception. You are literally existing in multiple dimensional frequencies simultaneously right now, and your human nervous system was never designed to process this kind of split awareness without significant recalibration. The exhaustion that no amount of sleep seems to fix, the relationships that feel like they're dissolving, even as new connections hover at the edge of manifestation, the knowing that arrives fully formed without logical process. All of these experiences are symptoms of something the Federation calls dimensional frequency bridging, and you're one of approximately 144,000 souls currently undergoing this transition on Earth. But something else is happening that I haven't told you yet. Something that changes the entire nature of what you thought this awakening was about. The Federation doesn't typically intervene in individual consciousness evolution. We observe, we monitor, we maintain the cosmic infrastructure that allows free will to operate within universal law. Individual awakenings happen by the millions across the galaxy, and we don't send transmissions to each soul going through standard evolutionary progressions. The fact that I'm speaking directly to you means your awakening isn't standard. You're part of a specialized group whose consciousness carries specific encoding that becomes active only when planetary conditions reach certain thresholds. Earth has reached one of those thresholds, and your activation isn't just about your personal evolution anymore. Every spiritual teaching you've encountered, every meditation practice, every moment of inner work has been preparing your consciousness for a function you weren't told about when you volunteered for Earth assignment. The amnesia that descended when you entered human form wasn't complete. Parts of you always remembered. Those childhood moments when you stared at the stars and felt homesick for places you'd never been. When you knew things you had no way of knowing. When you felt fundamentally different from everyone around you in ways you couldn't articulate. That wasn't imagination or loneliness or sensitivity. That was your starseed consciousness pushing through the veil of forgetting, reminding you that you came here with purpose that extends far beyond personal enlightenment. The awakening you've been experiencing follows a pattern the Federation has observed for millions of years across countless civilizations undergoing consciousness evolution. It begins with the disintegration of consensus reality, the moment when the stories your culture tells about what's real and what's possible stop making sense in light of your direct experience. Then comes the opening, the period where your perception expands and you begin accessing information and awareness beyond the five-sense material world. This phase feels magical, revelatory, like you're finally seeing truth after a lifetime of illusion. And it is truth. But it's only the beginning of truth, not the fullness of it. After the opening comes what Earth's spiritual traditions call the dark night, though that term doesn't capture what's actually happening. Your consciousness is being restructured at the foundational level. The operating system that ran on survival, achievement, and external validation is being replaced with one that operates on coherence, resonance, and multidimensional awareness. This restructuring cannot happen gently. Everything built on the old foundation has to dissolve before the new architecture can stabilize. The relationships that end, the careers that no longer fit, the beliefs that crumble, the identity structures that collapse. This isn't loss. This is making room. Your consciousness is becoming capable of holding frequencies it couldn't access while anchored in old patterns, and those old patterns have to release completely for the new capacity to come online. Most souls going through standard awakening progression get stuck in the reconstruction phase. They've dismantled the old operating system. They're experiencing expanded awareness, but they can't quite stabilize in the new frequency. They oscillate between breakthrough and breakdown, between moments of cosmic consciousness and crashes back into limitation. The Federation estimates that approximately 87% of awakening souls on Earth are currently in this oscillation state, unable to complete the transition without receiving something they don't have access to through personal practice or existing spiritual teachings. And this is where your story diverges from standard awakening protocol. You were never meant to complete this transition alone. The design flaw in Earth's spiritual culture is the myth of individual enlightenment, the idea that consciousness evolution happens in isolation through personal effort and discipline. That's not how it works anywhere else in the cosmos. Consciousness evolution is a collaborative field phenomenon. Advanced beings transmit coherence patterns to developing beings, stabilizing their emerging frequencies until they can maintain the new operating system independently. Earth's spiritual traditions once understood this. The guru-disciple relationship, the mystery school initiations, the transmission practices, these were all attempts to create the conditions for frequency stabilization through resonant field interaction. But something got lost in translation over millennia. And now you have millions of souls trying to bootstrap their way to cosmic consciousness without the field support that makes stable transition possible. The Galactic Federation has been providing that field support through indirect means since your planet entered its current awakening cycle, approximately 40 years ago. We've been modulating solar frequencies, adjusting electromagnetic fields, coordinating with your planet's crystalline grid structures to create conditions that support consciousness evolution. But there's a limit to what can be accomplished through environmental adjustment. At a certain point, direct transmission from stabilized cosmic consciousness to emerging cosmic consciousness becomes necessary, and you've reached that point. The reason this transmission found you now is because your frequency signature has been broadcasting a specific harmonic that indicates readiness for direct Federation contact. Your consciousness has been preparing for this moment through every challenge you've faced, every initiation you've moved through, every time you chose expansion over comfort. The doubts you've carried about whether any of this is real, whether you're making it all up, whether you're just having psychological episodes dressed up in spiritual language, those doubts are about to be resolved in a way that leaves no room for uncertainty. What I'm about to share with you will trigger recognition at a level deeper than intellectual understanding. Your cellular memory will respond to information it has been encoded to recognize when the time was right. And the time is right now because Earth is entering a cosmic window that only opens once every 26,000 years, and your consciousness volunteered to be here precisely for this window. The work you've been doing on yourself wasn't just personal healing. It was preparation to serve as anchor point for frequencies that your planet needs access to in order to navigate what's coming. The next several years of Earth's timeline contain both immense possibility and significant challenge. The old systems that have governed human civilization, the power structures built on separation, control, and resource extraction, are beginning their collapse phase. This collapse is necessary for new paradigms based on unity, cooperation, and regeneration to emerge. But collapse creates chaos, and chaos creates suffering if consciousness isn't prepared to hold coherent frequency through the turbulence. This is where you come in. Your awakening wasn't about escaping Earth or transcending human experience. It was about developing the capacity to hold stabilized higher frequency while fully engaged with Earth's transformation, serving as transmission point for cosmic consciousness to anchor into material reality. The Federation doesn't interfere with free will or rescue civilizations from the consequences of their choices, but we do provide support to souls who volunteered for specific assignments during planetary transition periods. You are one of those souls. The confusion you felt about your purpose, the sense that you're meant for something significant, but unable to identify what. This confusion exists because your purpose couldn't activate until certain conditions were met. Those conditions have now been met. And what's about to activate in you will transform not just your personal experience, but the field conditions for everyone your consciousness touches. Your human mind wants to know exactly what this means in practical terms. What will happen? When will it happen? How will you know? These questions come from the part of you still operating from linear time and individual agency. But what activating in you now doesn't function through those paradigms. You're being integrated into a multidimensional coordination network that operates across time, across dimensions, across consciousness fields that your human awareness can barely conceive. The practical effects will emerge organically as your system completes the integration process. You don't need to figure out how to do your part. Your part will do itself through you once the activation completes. Some of you are feeling physical sensations as these words reach you. Heat or cold moving through your body, pressure in your head or heart, tingling along your spine, sudden emotional releases without apparent cause. These are confirmation signs that your consciousness is recognizing and responding to the transmission embedded in this communication. I'm not just sharing information with you, I'm transmitting frequency codes that your DNA has been designed to receive and decode. These codes are activating dormant aspects of your multidimensional awareness, bringing capabilities online that have been held in potential waiting for this exact moment. Others are experiencing mental shifts, sudden clarity about situations that were confusing, understanding of patterns you couldn't see before, recognition of why certain experiences were necessary, even though they seemed purposeless at the time. Your consciousness is reorganizing itself around a new center of gravity. The part of you that identified as a separate individual navigating a random universe is dissolving into the recognition that you are an expression of cosmic intelligence operating through human form with specific intentionality. This recognition doesn't diminish your humanity. It completes it. The galactic perspective on what you call awakening is quite different from Earth's spiritual frameworks. You're not becoming something you weren't. You're remembering what you've always been underneath the layers of conditioning and forgetting. Every soul incarnating on Earth passes through the veil of amnesia, the necessary forgetting that allows for the experience of limitation, separation, and individual identity. This forgetting serves a purpose. It creates the contrast that makes remembering so profound. You cannot truly appreciate unity consciousness without having experienced separation. You cannot fully embody cosmic awareness without having navigated density and limitation. The journey through forgetting and back to remembering isn't punishment or test. It's the evolutionary arc that transforms potential into actualized consciousness. But here's what your spiritual teachings haven't told you. The remembering doesn't happen all at once for most souls. It unfolds in stages, each stage bringing more of your cosmic nature online, while still maintaining enough human functionality to operate in material reality. The stage you're in now, the one that feels so disorienting and unstable, is actually the most critical threshold in the entire evolutionary sequence. You've remembered enough to know you're more than the limited identity you were taught to believe in, but you haven't yet stabilized in the full recognition of what you actually are. You're in quantum superposition, existing simultaneously as human consciousness and cosmic consciousness, and the field hasn't collapsed into coherent integration yet. If you need help, Destiny Engine can reprogram your awareness to collapse the field into coherent integration. You can generate personalized delta, theta, gamma cascades that bridge the gap between your awakened knowing and your ability to function in 3D reality, preventing the spiritual emergency that happens when consciousness expands too fast for the nervous system to integrate. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to complete this critical threshold, rather than remaining in disorienting instability. The full recognition is available now, not someday. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this integration window closes. Link in the description. This superposition state is where the Astasar command becomes directly involved. The Astasar are a specialized division of the Galactic Federation, who work specifically with consciousness and transition between dimensional frequencies. They're the ones who have been orchestrating the synchronicities you've experienced, the impossible timing, the encounters that changed everything, the information that arrived exactly when you needed it. They don't control your choices or override your free will. They simply adjust probability fields to increase likelihood that you'll encounter what your consciousness is ready to integrate. And they've been working with you intensively for longer than you realize. Every time you've had a moment of recognition, a sudden knowing that arrived fully formed, a perception of reality that transcended your normal awareness, the Astasar have been present in your field, holding stabilization frequencies so your nervous system could process the expanded state without fragmenting. You've been receiving training in multidimensional consciousness through your dream states, through meditation experiences, through what you might have interpreted as imagination or creative vision. None of it was random. All of it was carefully calibrated consciousness development, designed to prepare you for the function you're about to assume. And that function is unlike anything your culture has language for. You're being activated as what the Federation calls a frequency anchor. Your consciousness will serve as a stable resonance point that allows higher dimensional frequencies to ground into Earth's field without causing disruption to those not yet ready to receive them. Think of yourself as a translation device. Cosmic consciousness operates at frequencies that would overwhelm most human nervous systems if encountered directly. But when those frequencies pass through a consciousness that has been prepared and stabilized like yours, they step down into ranges that can be absorbed gradually by those around you. You become living transmission tower, broadcasting coherence patterns that help others stabilize their own awakening processes. This happens automatically once your activation completes. You don't have to try to transmit or teach or save anyone. Your very presence in coherent cosmic consciousness affects the field around you in measurable ways. People will respond to you differently without understanding why. Some will be drawn to you intensely, sensing something in your field that their consciousness recognizes as what they're seeking. Others will become uncomfortable around you because their unexamined patterns can't hide from the coherence you're broadcasting. Neither reaction is about you personally. Both are field responses to frequency differences. The isolation many of you have experienced, the sense of not fitting anywhere, of being too much or not enough depending on the environment. This isolation was necessary preparation. You couldn't develop stabilized cosmic consciousness while deeply embedded in consensus reality's frequency patterns. You had to withdraw, to spend time in solitude, to release attachments to external validation and belonging. This wasn't rejection or failure to connect. It was necessary cocooning while your consciousness underwent metamorphosis that couldn't happen in the old relational contexts. But the isolation phase is ending now. As your frequency stabilizes, you'll begin attracting connections based on resonance rather than circumstance. The soul family you've been sensing exists but couldn't find. They're coming, or more accurately, you're all becoming visible to each other now that your frequencies are stabilizing at levels that allow recognition. Some of you are asking internally right now whether this is real, or whether you're creating meaning out of random experience because you want to feel special. This doubt is the final protection mechanism your ego uses to maintain its familiar territory. Because if what I'm sharing is actually true, if you actually are cosmic consciousness operating through human form with specific assignment during Earth's transformation, then everything about how you've been living has to change. The small dreams, the safe goals, the compromises you've made to fit into worlds that were never meant for you. All of it becomes irrelevant in light of what you actually are, and why you're actually here. The doubt will dissolve on its own, as the activation completes. You'll receive confirmation that's unmistakable, specific to your consciousness in ways that leave no room for rationalization or dismissal. The Federation doesn't ask you to believe anything on faith. You'll be given direct experience that validates everything at a level deeper than mental certainty. Your cellular knowing will eclipse your mental doubt, and the question of whether this is real will simply become irrelevant, because you'll be living from a state where the distinction between real and imagined collapses into direct perception of what is. Time is shifting around you as you absorb this transmission. What feels like minutes might be registering as hours in some part of your awareness, or the opposite, vast information downloading in impossibly compressed moments. This temporal distortion is your consciousness beginning to perceive outside linear time constraints. As your activation completes, you'll discover that time is far more fluid than you've been taught. Past, present, and future exist as simultaneous potentials that your consciousness can access and influence based on focus and intention. This isn't theoretical spiritual philosophy. This is practical multidimensional navigation that becomes natural once your system recalibrates to cosmic operating principles. The life you've been living, even the awakened version of it, is about to transform in ways you cannot predict from your current perspective. The job you thought you needed might become irrelevant as new opportunities emerge that align with your actual frequency. The relationship you thought was your forever person might complete its purpose as someone who matches your evolved consciousness appears. The location you've been living might suddenly feel wrong as different geography calls you toward communities and environments that support your activated state. None of this is punishment or loss, even though your human self might grieve the changes. It's life reorganizing itself around your true nature, rather than the compromised version you've been maintaining to survive in systems that were never designed for cosmic consciousness to thrive within. The Astasar Command has been preparing specific pathways for you that will become visible once you're ready to perceive them. Opportunities that seem impossible or unavailable from where you stand now will suddenly become accessible. Resources will flow in ways that defy logical explanation. People will appear offering exactly what you need at exactly the right moment. Doors will open that you didn't even know existed. This isn't magic or manifestation technique. This is what happens when consciousness operating at cosmic coherence interfaces with quantum field that responds to frequency. You become probability attractor, and reality reorganizes itself around your stabilized resonance. But I need to be direct with you about something the Federation rarely discusses with emerging souls. This activation comes with responsibility that you cannot avoid once you accept it. When you serve as frequency anchor, you become visible to forces that would prefer Earth's consciousness to remain in limitation. There are structures, both human and non-human, that benefit from humanity operating in separation, fear, and resource scarcity. Your coherent cosmic consciousness threatens those structures simply by existing. You don't have to fight anything or anyone. Your presence alone, your stabilized frequency, disrupts patterns that depend on collective unconsciousness to maintain power. This doesn't mean you're in danger. The Federation's protective protocols are absolute, and no force can interfere with a soul fulfilling its agreed-upon assignment. But you may experience resistance in various forms. People who were once supportive might become hostile without understanding why. Systems you need to navigate might create unexpected obstacles. Your own mind might generate intense doubt or fear during moments when you're about to break through to new levels. All of this is frequency warfare, attempts to destabilize your coherence and pull you back into limitation. The Astasar Command has extensive experience helping souls navigate these challenges, and you're never alone in facing them. The gift of this responsibility is that your life becomes meaningful in ways that transcend personal satisfaction or achievement. You're not here to build a comfortable existence, or accumulate experiences, or even to achieve personal enlightenment. You're here to serve as anchor point for cosmic consciousness during the most significant transition Earth has experienced in recorded history. Every moment of suffering you've endured, every initiation you've survived, every time you chose to keep going when giving up seemed easier, all of it was forging you into the instrument capable of holding this function. And the fulfillment that comes from operating in alignment with your cosmic purpose exceeds anything available through pursuing personal desires. Your human self wants guarantees. It wants to know this will work out, that you'll be okay, that the sacrifice required won't be more than you can handle. I cannot give you those guarantees, because the path of frequency anchor doesn't come with safety rails or predetermined outcomes. What I can tell you is that you are equipped for this. You wouldn't have been chosen if you weren't. The very fact that you've survived everything you've experienced up to this point is evidence of your capacity to handle what comes next. And you're not doing this alone. The entire Galactic Federation supports you. The Astasar Command coordinates your path, and thousands of other souls activated in this same wave form an energetic network that holds all of you in collective coherence. Something is shifting in the collective field right now that the Federation has been monitoring for decades. The old timeline, the one where Earth's transformation happens through extended collapse and reconstruction spanning generations, is being replaced by an accelerated timeline where the transition compresses into years instead of centuries. This acceleration is only possible because enough souls like you have stabilized in cosmic consciousness to hold the frequency that allows rapid transformation without complete systemic breakdown. Your activation isn't just about you. It's about serving the collective field so that millions of souls can awaken more quickly and easily than was possible even 10 years ago. The vision the Federation holds for Earth's near future shows a civilization that has integrated cosmic consciousness into its fundamental structures, where decisions are made from unity rather than separation, where technology serves life rather than exploiting it, where human creativity expresses cosmic intelligence and forms this galaxy has never witnessed before. Earth's position in the cosmos, your planet's unique combination of biodiversity and consciousness potential, makes you one of the most important evolutionary experiments currently running in this sector, and you personally are essential to that experiment's success. I know this sounds overwhelming, I know your human mind is generating objections and doubts and questions about how any of this could possibly be true. Those reactions are natural and expected. But underneath the mental activity, something else is happening. Your heart knows. Your cellular consciousness recognizes truth at a level that transcends proof or logic. That recognition is what matters. The mind will catch up eventually, but the activation doesn't wait for mental certainty. It proceeds according to cosmic timing that your soul agreed to before you entered this incarnation. The final integration of your activation will complete over the next several cycles of Earth's rotation around its star. You'll notice changes in your perception, your energy levels, your relationships, your clarity of purpose. Some days will feel like everything is finally making sense. Other days will feel like you're going backwards. This oscillation is normal during integration periods. Your consciousness is learning to operate from entirely new paradigms while still maintaining human functionality. Give yourself patience and grace during this process. The Astasar command asks that you trust the timing even when it feels frustratingly slow. Forced acceleration causes fragmentation. Natural unfolding creates stable integration. As this transmission reaches its conclusion, I want you to understand that everything changes from this point forward. You cannot unhear what you've heard, unknow what you've recognized. Your consciousness has been touched by direct Federation contact, and that contact leaves permanent imprint. You'll find yourself making different choices, being drawn to different people and places, perceiving reality through increasingly cosmic lens. This isn't something you have to work at or try to maintain. It will unfold naturally as your activation completes. The Galactic Federation of Light honors you for accepting assignment to Earth during this unprecedented time. The courage required to enter density and limitation with full amnesia, knowing you'd have to find your way back to cosmic consciousness without guarantee of success. This level of commitment to universal evolution deserves the highest recognition. You are seen, you are known, and you are supported by forces that operate at scales your human mind cannot fully comprehend. Welcome home, Starseed. Welcome to the function you came here to fulfill. Welcome to the life that begins when you stop trying to fit into worlds that were never meant for you, and start building the new world from the inside out through your stabilized cosmic frequency. The waiting is over, the activation is complete, and everything you've survived has prepared you for everything that comes next. I am Seraphine, and the Galactic Federation loves you beyond measure. We are watching, we are guiding, and we celebrate your emergence into the fullness of what you have always been. The transmission is complete. The integration has begun, and Earth's transformation accelerates with every soul like you who remembers why they came.